Let my beauty intoxicate you.
Vega was raised in a wealthy, noble household. He believed his stepfather was unattractive and did not like him. His family's fortunes declined for unclear causes, forcing Vega's lovely mother to remarry in order to secure her financial future. As Vega grew older, he learned bullfighting. He then traveled to Japan to study ninjutsu, his second great interest, a martial art he thought would complement his inherent grace and agility. After combining ninjutsu and bullfighting, Vega thought his combat skills were perfect. So, he joined an underground cage fighting circuit. He rose swiftly to become among the finest. Years later, since he believed she did not appreciate him, his stepfather killed his lovely mother. Vega lost control and murdered him in retaliation. He was troubled by the event and Vega soon began acting differently. He was an honorable gentleman during the day and a cold-blooded killer at night. This encounter served as the catalyst for Vega's fixation with aesthetics as good quality and his conviction that vileness is something wicked that has to be eradicated. He goes by the names Balrog in Japan and Claw in the professional gaming scene, but I'm going to refer to him by his American moniker, Vega. Now that I think about it, the guy is literally the evil Spanish Batman. Trained to be a ninja? Let us find out more and explore the mysterious origins of Vega in our video today. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you, and let's begin. Vega History Explored. Video game character Vega, sometimes known as Balrog, Balrogu in Japan, originally made an appearance as an unplayable boss in Street Fighter II, before being made playable in the sequel Street Fighter II Champion Edition. He is M. Bison's personal bodyguard and a claw-wielding, egotistical Spanish ninja who is infatuated with beauty. The character archetype that most describes Vega is the narcissist, Naroshi Suto, who is frequently portrayed as a very long-haired as well as effeminate self-lover in anime and Japanese manga. According to Vega's pop culture article, certain iconic figures are analogous to him. Vega frequently takes it off during his victory postures after bouts. In several of his character-selected mugshots, in addition to some of his unique endings, his face is revealed to some extent, if not entirely. Additionally, several characters can still identify him even though they have never seen Vega without his mask. He may take the mask off in certain games while engaged in combat. The interior design of Vega's residence is filled with self-portraits, displaying his uncontrolled and solipsistic ego. Due to his noble upbringing, Vega is also skilled in assuming a classy and refined demeanor. He has also been characterized as intellectual and smart. He also finds young female fighters like Chun-Li and Cammy attractive because of their power and attractiveness. In the instance of the former, he repeatedly expresses his admiration for her appearance. He also seemed to relish teasing Chun-Li and inflicting agony and anguish on her at the same time. In contrast, Vega has a tendency to despise guys absolutely and is frequently heard criticizing their fighting prowess and ugliness in frequent win statements, believing that his appearance and talents are better. He has a terrible side too. Because of the trauma his family had endured, his impressionable mind began to interpret physical unattractiveness as both unpleasant and dangerous. Furthermore, some, if not all, of Vega's victory comments against other ninja combatants imply that he evaluates them depending on their proficiency with the technique of ninjutsu, along with their appearance. The brightest star in its constellation, Lyra, is Vega, which is also the fifth brightest star in the sky at night. This is reflected in the names of some of Vega's techniques like the Cosmic Heel and the Stardust Drop. When Street Fighter II was translated into the United States, Capcom was concerned that Mike Tyson would sue over a character named Balrog that resembled him and had a name that sounded close to his Japanese moniker was Mike. Additionally, the marketing division of Capcom USA did not think the character named Vega matched the name, according to the creators, when they pitched the game to them. Another popular Spanish last name is Vega. 3 out of the 4 antagonist characters' names were determined to be rotated in the following way. The Spanish bullfighter assassin is recognized as Balrog in Japan, but Vega in the US. The boxer is identified as M. Bison in Japan, as well as Balrog in the US. The villainous dictator and leader of Shadowloo is renowned as Vega in Japan, while M. Bison in the US. Vega is an attractive young man having long hair that is weaved into a ponytail and is tall and gorgeous. Through different Street Fighter publications, his hair has alternated between black, brown, and blonde. Vega's hair is brown in the Street Fighter II series sprites, but blonde in the game's endings when he appears. He has blonde hair in the comics just like in Street Fighter Alpha 3 and Street Fighter 5, while Vega poses brown hair in Street Fighter 4's gameplay and cutscenes. He appears to be involved in bullfighting because he is dressed in ceremonial yellow and murray pants, loafers, a red sash, and white matador tights. This ornamental attire is comfortable for matadors to move in, making it perfect for Vega's acrobatic feats. In addition, Vega has a violet snake tattoo over his chest that circles his left arm. He also has gold armlets on his right hand and both wrists. In a Japanese market where Yakuza members typically wear body art, the tattoo portrays him as a villain. Vega will extend his arm out in Capcom vs SNK 2's victory posture, the tattoo animating and snarling at the opponent. He also keeps his hands' nails long and sharp as seen in the majority of Street Fighter material. According to early drawings, Vega was supposed to seem like a knight from the Middle Ages who was fully armored. Since Street Fighter was about combatants from around the world, not only from various eras, this notion was abandoned. The final design for Vega incorporates a few elements from his idea, especially a mask as well as a pointed metal claw. Geiki in the first Street Fighter employed a weapon of a similar design, hence it's been assumed that Vega learned from Geiki. The idea of Vega being a Spanish assassin was not initially intended. A few concepts were left unfinished in the final stages of production, including a ninja character, a Thai character, and a Spanish character. The artist Mizuho Katoragi Kageyama was tasked with finishing them. Vega was first instructed to create a Spanish ninja in the likeness of the nameless Asura, a villain in the Fist of the North series, which is renowned for his incredible agility, distinctive mask, bladed weapons, and braided hair. Originally, Vega was supposed to create a Thai ninja. Vega wears a blank white mask with no emotions or characteristics. His mask features a purple symbol that matches the hue of his body art, and it's hard to determine how sturdy his mask is. In Street Fighter Alpha 3, Vega may, on one hand, shatter it to dust with just one arm if he loses. However, it takes several blows before the mask comes off, and even then, he can pick it up and put it back on without any obvious long-term harm. Due to sprite mirroring, Vega's claw always appears on the arm that corresponds to the direction he's facing. If he's gazing to the left side of the display screen, it'll appear on his left arm, but if he's looking right, it'll be on his right arm. Quite like Sagat's eye patch in previous games. It'll always be over his right arm in the Street Fighter EX series. The marks on his mask, accoutrements, and tattoos all show that his claw in Street Fighter 4 changes every time he shifts sides without mirroring. Curiously, his portrait won't replicate all of the accessories during the battle screen either, except his talons. Vega still has his talons and red waist belt in Street Fighter 5, but he's sporting a white shirt that's only half open. His customary matador pants have been replaced with light blue denim. He still has some of the violet snake tattoos around his torso. His attire has been changed to become his alternative costume. His ruffled shirt sleeves are short and his trademark mask has been swapped out for a golden theatrical mask. His long single-fringed blonde hair is pulled back neatly into a ponytail on top of his head. He dons a formal black suit, a long red coat, a white tie, and black boots for his Halloween DLC outfit. In addition, he has a magician's hat and white gloves. Vega can engage in combat while donning this attire, whether wearing his long coat or not. Vega has been born in Spain to a wealthy noble family. Their position declined for unknown reasons, forcing Vega's mom to remarry in order to secure her financial future. Growing up learning hunting techniques, Vega subsequently learned bullfighting, an artistic institution. He found the sport more thrilling and respectable since it allowed him to kill his target directly with his own strength. He then traveled to Japan to study ninjutsu, which he felt worked competently with his inherent elegance and agility. When Vega entered the underground combat sports circuit, he combined bullfighting with ninjutsu and rapidly rose to the top. Because he believed she didn't respect him, his unattractive stepfather killed his gorgeous mother, and Vega murdered him in retaliation. He became a cruel killer by night and an honorable aristocrat by day as a result of the tragedy which altered his mental state. It also sparked Vega's fascination with elegance as a positive quality and his conviction that deformity is something terrible that has to be eradicated. Vega, who was allied with Cammy, as well as the Shadowloo killers known as the Dolls, coordinated assassination activities for Shadowloo in Street Fighter Alpha 3. Vega was tasked with bringing Cammy in after she turned rogue. Still, he was unable to, so Cammy hauled herself inside and destroyed M. Bison on her own, liberating the other dolls from Bison's indoctrination. Vega saved Cammy along with the other dolls from the smoldering Shadowloo base with the pressure of unbinding the indoctrination and a dead Triggerman in the indoctrination that was intended to murder them if they backstabbed Bison caused them to crumple. Vega did not believe that something as magnificent as them must perish. Vega competed in the second World Warrior competition in Super Street Fighter II Turbo at Bison's request. However, after Bison looked to have been murdered by an unidentified attacker, Vega vanished heretofore into his previous way of life. It is unknown in Super Street Fighter IV what Vega has been up to after Shadowloo's downfall. He was said to have reverted to bullfighting and was thought to be dead by a number of individuals. Vega was still alive though, and Shadowloo's SIN section made an effort to rehire him. Vega possibly received a subsidiary's offer because he was interested in the idea of developing new bodies for himself in order to be eternally young, and because he was tired of the royal lifestyle in general. Finding wealth and power to be an ugly combination, Vega stole crucial research data from SIN HQ while Seth was preoccupied with many attackers, among them a recently revived Bison. However, when Chun-Li tried the identical thing, he tried to murder her by activating the fire alarm, which discharged a poisonous fire retardant spray. He saw Chun-Li being evacuated from the base together with her duplicate of the data as he fled the exploding base in a chopper. Vega decided to make amends later, while being just somewhat disappointed that he didn't possess the lone copy. The return of Vega in Street Fighter V was announced on August 3. Vega keeps an eye on the dolls and thinks Fang is stupid for forcing them to obey Shadowloo's orders faithfully. As the fallen Balrog, Vega made an appearance in Canon Spike as a darker version of himself, the name Balrog being his original name in Japan. In Capcom vs SNK Millennium Fight 2000, Capcom vs SNK 2 and SNK vs Capcom SVC Chaos, Vega was a playable character. In Capcom vs SNK 2, the narcissist would bow upon introducing himself before throwing a rose at a female opponent if he wins the match out of admiration for her beauty. Only in the introductions of other pretty boy characters like his SNK adversary Benimaru Nikaido and rival schools Kyosuke Kagami and oddly even M. Bison, perhaps out of respect for his authority, would toss a rose. On the other hand, shaking his head in disgust battles against characters he deems ugly: Raiden, Dalsim, E. Honda, Blanca, Zangief, and Chang Kohan. Balrog and Vega are ordered to get Pandora in Street Fighter Cross Tekken. Even though they hate one another and fight all the time, they nonetheless work together to get Pandora for themselves. Yoshimitsu and Raven, their adversaries, attack them as they journey. In the post-ending, which appears after the player fights the Ogre alongside Vega, it is revealed that Vega murdered the Balrog and kept Pandora's abilities for himself. Then he understood that by doing so he might purify the environment and make it deserving of his presence. In pursuit of his aspirations, Vega sets off with his objective in mind. Or if somehow the player used Balrog to destroy the Ogre, it is said that Vega fell victim to Balrog and died. One of Street Fighter Cross Mega Man's 4 final bosses is named Vega. Blood Brothers 2, a mobile RPG by DNA, features Vega. As representatives of the classes in Shadowverse, Vega, Ryu, Chun-Li, M. Bison, Karin, Juri, and Cammy all make an appearance. Vega is a Bloodcraft Dex optional leader. There is a lot of trivia on set and behind the screen related to Vega. Let us find out. Vega's second alternative outfit in Super Street Fighter IV somewhat resembles Zoro. He is referred to internationally as Claw since his name varies based on where you are. Vega is mentioned in Ryu's victory remarks from Marvel vs. Capcom 3's match with Wolverine. In the Street Fighter series, only Vega has the ability to communicate with his stage. Instead of trying to work for M. Bison in Shadowloo, Vega does it for Sagat in the subterranean combat ring in the 1994 Street Fighter movie. Only in the home rendition of Street Fighter the movie does Vega play without a mask. Vega and Dudley both have the same birthday. Vega and Cammy both have a touchdown and a Frankensteiner in their standard repertoire. On an alternative cover for the issue number 11 of Udon Street Fighter Unlimited, Vega may be seen in his fallen Balrog state or a look very close to it. One of the rare characters from the original Street Fighter IV game that only has one opponent, Chun-Li in this case, for the duration of the sub-series is Vega. The appearance of Vega in Canon Spike is reminiscent of Marilyn Manson. The scrape on Vega's mother's face in the Matador movie is similar to the one on Vega's mask. Vega in Street Fighter II, the animated movie, 1994. In the prologue, Ryu, a Japanese martial artist, and Sagat, a Muay Thai champion, fight until Ryu uses a Shoryuken, a soaring uppercut blow propelled by ki spiritual force, to scar Sagat across the chest badly. Sagat charges toward Ryu in a fury. Ryu nonetheless declares victory by using his Hadouken move, which involves charging his ki strength into his palms and releasing it as a strong energy blast. Sagat swears vengeance. A few years later, when entranced MI6 agent Cammy White assassinated Justice Minister, Interpol operative Chun-Li Zhang proposed that they work with the US military to take down the mysterious criminal organization known as Shadow Lu. Shadow Lu's chief is the target of Captain William Guile's vengeance. When Chun-Li is subsequently revealed that Bison had murdered her father years before and that she also wanted vengeance but knew that her job came first, Bison finally changed his mind and agreed to take responsibility for the loss of his closest friend. In the Shadow Lu stronghold, Bison orders a global quest for Ryu with the help of his henchmen Balrog, Vega, and Sagat. He also sends out large numbers of monitor cyborgs to identify additional useful martial experts for their cause. While Dalsim, Fei Long, and Edmund Honda are among the worthy opponents Ryu is searching for throughout the globe, Ryu manages to avoid detection by controlling his ki. While Ryu has started a conjugal life, Ken Masters, Ryu's American closest buddy and fighting adversary, still longs for a good challenge and wants to rematch with Ryu. T-Hawk, who had tracked Ken out to confront him, is spotted by a surveillance cyborg during a battle, and video of the encounter is forwarded to the Shadow Lu headquarters. When Bison views the video and finds out about Ken and Ryu's past interactions, he plans to track down Ken and hypnotize him in place of Ryu. Bison, who is traveling, witnesses Guile and Chun-Li warning DJ regarding the monitor cyborgs and killing one in the procedure. He then orders Vega to murder Chun-Li in New York. Vega ambushes Chun-Li in her apartment, but after a violent struggle, she kicks Vega out through the building's wall, causing him to fall to his death. She is, however, seriously injured and goes into a coma. Guile shows up and drives her right away to the hospital. Also, learning about Ryu as well as Ken from Interpol, Guile goes to Thailand to alert Ryu, who is practicing in the hills with E. Honda. Guile also discovers that Bison has kidnapped Ken, but Bison pursues Guile and berates them. He places Ryu under the hypnosis of Ken, who initially shows no signs of resistance. Bison meets Guile and suffers a terrible beating, but Guile grants his life as the last insult, while Honda fights Balrog. Ken's mind is torn apart by memories of their history as Ryu gets ready to avenge him, and he manages to escape Bison's mind control. After casting Ken into the distance with his psycho power, the infuriated Bison turns his focus to Ryu, who struggles to defeat him. Ken fixes his body using the key teachings of his teacher before joining the battle. Ryu and Ken ultimately subdue Bison with their combined strength and launch a simultaneous Hadouken at him, seemingly killing him. Balrog is vanquished by Honda, who also saves Guile and Balrog. Shortly later, the US military finds and destroys Bison's base entrance, probably detaining all of Bison's lieutenants and bringing Shadow Lu to an end. Guile and Chun-Li reconcile at the hospital after Chun-Li fully recovers and lets him know their job was successful. In another scene, Ryu and Ken once more part ways, and Ryu starts his quest all over again. However, a large vehicle ambushes him from behind, and it turns out that the driver is Bison, who made it through the conflict. Ryu jumps towards the vehicle to confront Bison once again as the movie comes to a conclusion. A post-credits message advertises the Street Fighter live-action movie featuring Jean-Claude Van Damme as well as the late great Raul Julia for a Japan Spring 1995 release. What makes Vega so strong? Vega is one of the Street Fighter series' swiftest and most agile character, but he's also one of the weakest. To counteract his tremendous speed, his defensive rating is lower than that of the majority of the other characters. In addition, Vega is the lone weapon user in the Street Fighter II series and one of the few overall. The combination of bullfighting and ninjutsu in Vega's combat technique, which is formerly known as Spanish ninjutsu, has earned him the moniker Spanish Ninja. The general Vega style combines a keep-away approach with fast lunges toward the opposition. With his flying Barcelona attack and sky-high claw, Vega has a strong air game. He is also more than agile enough to dodge an opponent's attacks and strike quickly in succession. setting up potentially disastrous setups, perplexing cross-ups, or long-range poking attacks using the reach advantage of his claw. However, Vega's long reach is easily countered at the appropriate time, leaving him defenseless against a forceful opponent. Additionally, the majority of Vega's techniques are challenging to hold a position with and are not very safe on blocks. Along with a variety of airborne techniques, Vega is also capable of backflipping assaults with his long and short backslashes, as well as low ground attacks like the Scarlet Terror and Rolling Crystal Flash. Vega is no more a fighter who charges in Street Fighter V, making almost all of his attacks simpler to execute. Vega loses his claw after exactly 14 blocked hits. This dramatically restricts his strike range and occasionally power and makes it impossible for him to perform several super combos. Since Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo, Vega has been able to get his claw back. However, in Street Fighter Alpha 3, he may also lose his mask, albeit the difference is superficial. The claw that Vega has in SNK versus Capcom SVC Chaos cannot be lost. Vega may use a super combo in the Street Fighter EX series to strengthen or restore his claw. Vega may toss his claw off as a unique taunt in the Street Fighter 4 games. He may also throw his mask to boost his strike strength by 25% at the expense of 2 super combo gauge bars. Injury scaling is still calculated, however. Having his mask off, Vega may be seen sticking his tongue out either to lick his talon or mock his defeated foe if he prevails in a battle. In Street Fighter V, Vega may select between using his claws or hands unarmed, and he can sheath or unsheath them at any time during a fight. When Vega is unarmed, he has access to a control grab and a wide range of other assault capabilities. In sharp contrast to prior appearances, Vega's claw cannot be picked up again after it has been knocked off. Possible combinations vary based on the chosen combat style. Sheathing the claw often trades range for increased combo potential. In Street Fighter V, Vega's claw merely gives him more range for the majority of his strikes. It does not appear to improve the amount of damage he delivers. To compensate for the lack of combo potential, certain of his strikes have more significant damage with a claw. On FBA, for instance, the one which strikes the adversary down with Talon on, restricting any combo option. In Street Fighter V, when Vega loses between 80 and 85% of his health, he also forfeits his mask. After shedding the mask, he deals somewhat more damage, but it does not appear as he suffers from the defensive penalty that he did in earlier games.
Congratulations!
Interesting facts about Vega you should know. The narrative of Vega and his initial artwork all holler a Batman tale went wrong, almost as if Heath Ledger's Joker were mixed in. That is to state, when he was a youngster, his stepfather killed his mother, and because he thought his mother was lovely and his stepfather was ugly, he learned from this that ugly people ought to die. The similarities between Vega and the Dark Knight are obvious, but towards the conclusion of Street Fighter II's development, they discarded the armor and stuck with his traditional appearance. After becoming a successful hitman and making a fortune from it, he even began to invest in an armored outfit to assist him in taking down his victims. It goes without saying that Vega indeed is a wicked bastard just because of how long ago his narrative was published. Many admirers have forgotten just how awful he can be. Vega has been a skilled assassin who murdered hundreds of individuals throughout the globe before entering the ranks of Shadaloo. Chun-Li's dad was one of those victims, which stoked their animosity even more and gave him someone to aim for and compete against. When this fact is included, the combat in the Street Fighter animated films has a little additional flair to them. The functioning of Vega's claw, as well as his mask, are some of the numerous recognizable aspects of his gameplay ever since his creation. His claw alters his whole repertoire of moves, giving him greater range when it's on and superior grips when it is off. Participants are also aware that if he is struck frequently enough, his mask as well as the claw may come off till he takes them back on stage. Many gamers are unaware that it required 14 blocked hits in the original games for his talon to fall off. In Street Fighter V, he drops his mask after his health bar is almost 80% full. In the most recent entry, they removed the odd feature where losing the mask has defensive consequences. a recreation of Vega's iconic stage that serves as a hub for various criminal activities and a gambling den is the bar in Street Fighter V. From his life story and the movies, Vega is known as a cage fighter, and this pub is presumably where it all began. A cage that lowers from the ceiling to create a stage for the audience to view the fight is added when the platform is used. The level in Street Fighter V is actually prohibited from usage in tournaments since Vega has access to a unique move. Vega has an edge on his own turf since he may attach to the fence and fly about more than usual. Since Vega carries the claw in both his right and left hands in Street Fighter 4 and Street Fighter 5, it is obvious that he is able to switch the talon from hand to hand. Given that he is the only character in the Street Fighter world who is not right-handed, this is a highly intriguing fact. Vega appears to be able to utilize both hands, switching between them as needed or between games, unlike all the other people on the show who favor their right hands over their left. Although it is not particularly bizarre in terms of gameplay, it's intriguing that he is the only ambidextrous character. Marvelous appearances of Vega in other media. Vega appeared in the adaptation of Street Fighter II, the animated movie. Similar to the adversary in the video game, Vega works for M. Bison with Balrog and Sagat. In Street Fighter II V, Vega plays a passionate bullfighter who develops feelings for and attempts to seduce Chun-Li. Vega, who perceives Ryu and Ken as competitors for Chun-Li's affection, invites the trio to a party at his castle out of envy and jealousy. However, the invitation is a ruse to get Ryu as well as Ken to engage in a caged death fight with him. Vega makes a surprise appearance in Street Fighter Alpha, the animation, brutalizing his opponent Dan for a brief period of time. Identical to his movie counterpart, Vega makes an appearance in 2 episodes of the Street Fighter cartoon Eye of the Beholder, as well as Face of Fury. His conflict with Blanka begins when he is presented as a former thug of Bison who had been promised perpetual youth. When Blanka prevented Vega from capturing a young woman in Brazil, Vega became enraged and the two started fighting. The woman pleaded with Blanka to halt as he prepared to kill Vega after winning, allowing Vega to retreat into the darkness. Vega briefly appears in Street Fighter 4 The Ties That Bind at the conclusion when he is shown riding in a Shadaloo chopper alongside Balrog. Seth, who is severely hurt, struggles to board the ship and receives a transmission from Bison, who informs him that although he put on a magnificent show, Sin's success was solely due to Shadaloo's manipulation of events, who worked in the background to assure their success. In the 1994 movie, Vega, played by Jay Tavare, fights Ryu while serving as Sagat's devoted aide in a cage bout. Guile spectacularly interrupts the bout, but the 4 of them are able to flee from jail after being arrested along with Sagat, Ryu, Ken, and most of the audience. Later, when Vega and Ryu square off once again, Ryu shifts the balance in his favor by scorching Vega's skin in an oven. Vega, represented by Taboo of the Black Eyed Peas, makes an appearance in Street Fighter The Legend of Chun-Li as a minor enemy. Only when he is hidden behind a mask or off-screen does Vega say any of the movie's lines. His face may be visible in some instances even though he always wears a mask. To kill Chun-Li, Bison has hired him. After a struggle in which Chun-Li prevails and leaves Vega dangling from a building, the 2 of them are left hanging. In the movie, Vega is shown wearing nothing but black, save for a metal mask that stands out from the rest of his claw and mask. Instead of wearing the mask to protect his face, Vega does so to hide his actual identity. Vega is represented as T-Man, a decent person in The Future Cops, a live theatrical production. He is a member of the squad that travels back in time to save U.T. Hong, Tai Hung, from being killed and stopped him from being the president. He is also a part of the Future Police. He develops a romance with Chuan Mei, Tai Hung's sister, by posing as another student, Chun-Li. In the gritty drama movie Matador, the main character Vega is emphasized along with the specifics of his horrific upbringing and the crucial series of events that shaped him into the executioner he is today. A senior Shadaloo member named Vega is tasked with finding Ryu in the first volume of the Udon series. Based on Killer Bee's intel, he travels to Japan, where following a confrontation with E. Honda, he meets Ken and Eliza. After learning that Ken and Eliza has attended his boxing event, Balrog tells Vega he had seen them there. Balrog then visits Vega in the US and intends to exact vengeance on him for the battle he encountered with Ken. In Volume 3, Vega makes a fleeting cameo in which he distributes invites to Shadaloo's World Warrior Tournament. When Vega reappears in Volume 4, it is revealed that he was the person who gave Cammy her recognizable scar during a battle and who also implanted the memory algorithm erase program that assisted in eradicating Shadaloo's effect on her. After Shadaloo once more indoctrinates Cammy in Volume 5, Vega triggers the algorithm to restore her mental faculties. In Volume 6, Vega challenges Ken in the World Warrior Tournament and dominates the match for the majority of the time. After a move reveals the note Eliza wrote to Ken informing him of their impending son, Ken executes his Shinryuken and defeats Vega in the fight. After Shadaloo Island is destroyed and Bison perishes, Vega resumes his old habits of staging cage bouts and cruelly murdering his opponents. However, because of his conceit, Interpol no longer views him as a threat, though they continue to keep an eye on him. In the latest issue of Street Fighter Unlimited, Vega kidnaps Chun-Li and creates clones of himself in the form of many 12 troops, who then assault Cammy, Alex, and Guile.
Let my beauty intoxicate you.
Marvelous verdict. Vega has been around since Street Fighter II first became a popular arcade game. He goes by the names Claw and Balrog in the professional gaming world. Balrog is his nickname in Japan. Vega initially began as an inaccessible boss character in his position as a member of M. Bison's senior officials in the nefarious enterprise Shadaloo. Before the revised version Street Fighter II Champion Edition, fans were unable to control him. Except for the fact that he's sort of a nasty jerk, Vega is likely the most exciting and interesting of the original 12 characters in that game. If they wanted to, they could easily give him his own spin-off. If you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks, everyone.